through the powers of Zoom, we are joining you all on Facebook. There's quite a lot of tech goes into setting up these lives when we're doing it like this. But appreciate everybody joining us. As Matt said there, as we had that dodgy music on. I don't think we've really ever been excited about delivering a training before. This weekend, the 26th and 27th of November, me and Matt are going to be delivering something called Bulletproof Actor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success, version 2.0 live. It's basically a full 2-day live event over on Zoom. Well, we're here on Zoom tonight, but it's going to be taking place on Zoom, so you can attend this from anywhere in the world. And ultimately, yeah, I mean, we have designed what I feel, is absolutely the most in-depth high-performance mindset coaching program for actors on earth, specifically for actors as well. It's not general personal development. There's a lot of personal development courses out there helping people, deal with things like self-confidence, procrastination, anxiety, all kinds of things that crop up in our lives that really, we get in our own way when we struggle with these things. But I don't think there's anything out there that is nowhere near this kind of depth, specifically for actors. Obviously, I've been coaching actors. I'm an actor myself. I've been coaching actors for 12 years now here at actsonthis.tv. I launched an initial version of this Bulletproof Actor program in 2014. 350 actors went through it. Some of them went on to do absolutely incredible things, including winning Academy Awards. It was a huge success. And for years, I've been like, you know what? I want to bring it back. I brought First TV Role Fast Track into the acting industry, not a mindset coaching program, a acting kind of blueprint, effectively, to get your first TV credit in record time. I delivered that over Zoom, and I thought, you know what? I wonder if I could develop Bulletproof Actor to deliver it over Zoom, and that is what we are doing. Matt, give people a little bit of insight while I just go down some comments in terms of, like, me and you've been putting this program together for the last 3 months. We've probably put, 300 hours into doing this, and we're still putting the finishing touches to the program. What's the process been like for you? And then we're going to do lots of Q&A tonight, guys, to just give you guys value for free, whether you do this program or not, all around your mindset to help you finish 2022 strong. There's so much time left to have a win in this year. So go on, Matt, I'm going to dive into the comments. But yeah, what's it been like for you?
So for me, what I love about this is the most valuable asset, our mindset. So I think for a lot of people, when it comes to acting, and I was an actor myself when I was a child up until, into my 20s, actually. And it was all just focused on, being the best actor you could be, doing classes, so the business of the business, that's something I know you're big on, Ross. And I did spend a lot of time doing that, but so little time was spent focusing on mindset. And it's like, if you get your mindset right, that's your biggest ally. So for me, doing this with you, it's an absolute honor. It's a privilege. The first course you did, I took back in 2014.
Which is amazing, I know.
And that was a game changer for me. And that sort of started me on this journey. As you know, I've now gone on to loads of incredible things that I'm so proud of, including being a coach myself and helping a lot of people. And whilst we've been putting this together, we really have taken all our learnings, all our experience. And again, one thing we talk about is investing in yourself. Yeah. And, I did the maths, and I've personally invested over £50,000 over the last few years alone on one-to-one mentors that I've hired, on courses that I've done, events I've been to. I mean, the courses, I think I've done about every course. I've got access to so many online courses about mindset and personal development and so on. And really what we've done is we've gone through it all and brought it all together and gone, what are the absolute foundations that everybody needs to know? And how can we teach this as concisely, as succinctly, and as short as possible? And it's a challenge. That's the honest answer. There's a lot to go through.
It is. An awful lot. Yeah, those people who have already got a ticket, if you go to bulletproofactor.com, I'm not here to sell you tickets tonight, guys. We are genuinely here to offer you value. But if you want to find out about this, go to bulletproofactor.com. You'll see this page here. It's got a countdown. This event starts in 4 days and 2 hours, as we are here live right now. So it's this Saturday and this Sunday. It's fully live on Zoom. But if you can't make the dates, you still want to get involved, you will get the full recordings of this. But you can read all about it on this page, exactly what's involved, how it's going to help your mindset, how it will bulletproof you. You can read about every single module module there. There's bits about me and Matt on there. There's video testimonials from people who took the first version of this. There's Oscar-winning actress and writer Rachel Shenton. She took the first version of this in 2015. Went on obviously to do incredible things. She now stars in All Creatures Great and Small. She's currently filming a film for Paramount as well. It shows you all the bonuses. There's loads of bonuses included. We can talk about that later if people have questions about it. But bulletproofactor.com if you want to grab a place for it. And there are people here live because I can see you now. Veronica's one. Who has already got a ticket. She says, I'm so looking forward to this course. My confidence has hit rock bottom and I need to help sort my mindset out once and for all. Veronica, we're going to absolutely guarantee we sort that out for you. But I agree with you, Matt. It has been a challenge to cherry pick basically a combined 21 years of experience in personal development. And that's between me and Matt. Matt's been doing this now professionally as an actual, a qualified mindset coach for the last sort of like 6-7 years. And sort of condense it down into a weekend. So what I want to tell people is those people who have got a ticket, this is something we have to hammer home. We do not for a second expect you to actually complete this program this weekend with us. What we're doing is we're taking everybody through it. We're holding your hand through the program. It's roughly going to be about 19, 20 hours of work this weekend. It's a big weekend. And then you will have obviously, literally the rest of your life, you'll have access to this program to actually implement everything. And I would suggest you go through each module. How long would you reckon people should spend on each module? There's 8 modules. It's at least a few days on each module. I mean, we're going to teach it across a weekend and we're going to walk you through it, but then it's down to you to go away and really do the work to implement this. What would you reckon people spend on each module, Matt?
Well, I would say, I said this to you earlier, I actually ran a course very similar to this myself, and it was an 8-week course. And obviously there is we have done this as 8 modules. And the way I did it was very, very similar. I think we've probably gone a little further and added more depth. And I think another great thing just to say while I'm on it, Ross, is I feel like we've still got the main core foundations, the main essence of Bulletproof Actor 1 is all in there. And
the
then
original,
added so much and it's grown so much. But yeah, I did this 8-week course and we would do a 90-minute session on a Monday night, and then they would have the week to work on it and really embed what they learn. And then the following week, and I actually think this course is quite similar. So I think each module, you want to be living with that for a good week, and you want to be working through it. And, because we've got workbooks, haven't we? They can go through and
it's a 50-page
write a little
workbook.
bit, spend a few hours on it one night, leave it, think about it, come back to it, take your time. And as Ross said, you've got lifetime access, and it really is, all personal development. It's not like, I always explain it as being like getting fit or, losing weight or anything like that in the gym. It's not like you learn how to get healthy, do it once, and then you're finished, right? You've got to put in the reps for the rest of your life. So that's the same with this course. Everything that we give you, it's not like just do it and leave it. Keep coming back to it forever. There's a quote we say that Tyrese Gibson, an actor, says, which is for every level, there's another devil. So the more you experience, the more you achieve new things and step out of your comfort zone. It's always about going back to the foundations again to help you be equipped for that next devil, as they say. So yeah, I think, and the other thing I just want to reiterate is anybody taking the course this weekend, you've got nearly 4 weeks of aftercare where you're going to be in a WhatsApp group with me for daily accountability and support and motivation, and also a Facebook group where we're going to do regular Q&As, all in the run up to Christmas. And I actually think, I've said this before, and it's not to do a disservice to the content or the course, but I actually think it's the aftercare that's one of the most important things, because it's not just the knowledge you acquire and the theory. It's the important bit, as we know, is putting it into practice. That's hard work when you do that alone. But when you've got coaches and you've got a community literally holding your hand step by step, that's where it can really increase your chances of staying consistent. And that's the key. So strap in if you're joining us, get ready. It's going to be one hell of a ride. It's going to be challenging. The reality is it might be quite overwhelming because it's a lot to take in, but we just advise you to do the best you can with it. Know that this is the long haul. It's not a quick fix, and enjoy the process as much as possible, because it's going to be an awful lot of fun as well. Or at least we're going to try and make it fun. It might just be bloody overwhelming. Who knows?
as possible. No, it will. It's going to be sitting. It'll be super interactive. Obviously, if you're going to be there this weekend. If you can't, like I say, don't fret, don't panic, because you will have access to the full recordings if you get involved in this, and you've still got a few days to grab a ticket. Even if you can't be there, like I say, you're going to be able to catch up in your own time for life. Meg Burley, how are you doing? Meg, did you do the original Bulletproof Actor? I can't remember. Back in the day, I've got a feeling you might have done. Joanne, how are you doing? Maya's going to be there. Says, so looking forward to next weekend. Bulletproof. She says that was how she said it phonetically, spelling it out. Yes, Maya, we will be there. It's Josh's birthday this weekend. We won't be there live the whole time, so we'll catch up when I miss on the recordings. Josh, just drop in when you want. So talking of next levels, basically, I mean that's the whole point of this program that we're doing, is to take people to their next level. And your next level is very subjective. It's for you. Ambition for you is what's ambitious for you. We're going to go through setting ambitious goals within this program, but it's all subjective. It's what's ambitious for you. Never feel that you have to keep up with anybody or do things that other actors are doing, and just sort of like follow the crowd. It's all very very much down to you and what you want to achieve. And I saw a quote this week, Matt, saying that everybody's next level really is just 2 millimeters above where they are. But for most people, they don't hit that. They never reach that extra 2 millimeters because they don't have the tenacity and the resilience to stay in the game long enough to actually reach it. It was Tony Robbins who said this. He said, it's almost like, you're smashing against this wall, and actors will feel this. You're going after audition, after audition, after audition, and you're getting a no and a no and a no, or maybe you're going for agent meetings and it's a no or a no, and you're getting dropped by agents and all this sort of stuff going on. And Tony said, listen, sometimes it's almost as if the universe, whatever you believe in, God, the universe, some higher power, is like, look, how much do you want it? I want to see you just smash that wall one more time. And if you do it just one more time for me, I will open it up. But people they walk away sometimes, I feel, when that wall is just about to come down. So let's talk a little bit about that tonight, and just ask any questions you want, guys. We're going to be here till 10 o'clock tonight. So we've got another 47 minutes where we can just talk about anything to do with mindset, whatever you are struggling with, whether it's self-confidence, anxiety, procrastination, time, money, limiting beliefs. We cover it all in this program. But just in terms of developing tenacity and resilience, Matt, when you work with clients, because obviously you don't just coach actors, you coach everybody from all walks of life. What do you think are the biggest things that are really stopping people from developing that real unstoppable belief in themselves, that resilience to keep going even when literally life has punched them in the face 12 times on the bounce? Like, what is it that just makes them go, I just cannot do this anymore? And what's the difference between those who can and those who can't?
Great question. For me, it's self-belief, because something we cover in a lot of depth actually on the course is the limiting beliefs that we, acquire over the years. Yeah. And most people are led by, they need a substantial amount of evidence to then be able to believe in something. And what I've learned, over the years from, I've had nearly 200 episodes of my podcast where I've sat down with super successful people from all walks of life, as well as coaching a lot of people one-to-one and group sessions and courses I've run. And what I've learned time and time again is the people who achieve success are not led by needing evidence.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, and I actually had a guest, a great guy called Jason James, lovely guy, on my podcast recently. And he said it brilliantly. He said that most people are seeing is believing sorts of people.
Yeah.
He said successful people are believing is seeing. As long as I can believe it, I don't need to see it. That is enough proof. And I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back, is they need to get external validation. They need other people to say, you can do this, you can do this. And they need to see, I've got substantial evidence to keep going. But actually, when Elon Musk wants to create life on Mars or whatever crazy ambitious stuff he's doing, and some of these pioneers in the world, when things have been invented for the first time, there was no evidence. They had to have, of course, not just complete delusion, but enough deep-rooted self-belief and self-confidence to keep on going regardless. And there's something we cover, Rogers Bannister, I was thinking, in our course.
Yes,
the first person. I don't know if you want to touch on that, because that's something you brought.
Well, it was amazing. It was I just think, sometimes, a lot of actors feel things are impossible, or they can feel impossible. I know when I first started out as an actor, well, actually not even started out, for probably the first decade of being an actor. I've been an actor for about 20 years now. I've just realized that I'm 40 now. It's been more like 25 years. Probably the first decade.
Don't talk about age, Ross. It only gets worse now.
Maybe the first 15 years. I honestly don't know. Well, no, I know that I didn't. Hand on heart, I did not truly believe that I could be in the top 1%, that I could be within the best of the best. I'm not saying the best actor on earth, but as in like to really work at the top of this industry, whether that is the top of UK TV or whether that would go on to UK film or international film, Hollywood, whatever. I don't know if I actually thought that was possible. And the beautiful example with Roger Bannister is Roger Bannister was the first guy in the world, folks, who broke the 4-minute mile. And it was 1954 at the time. It had been attempted so many times throughout history, and physiologists actually thought that we had reached the absolute limit of potential when it comes to the human body, and that many people had tried to run a mile in under 4 minutes, and they'd always hit either just over 4 minutes or even 4 minutes exactly. And people were giving up, as in like countries were giving up.
Yeah.
So Olympic teams were literally dropping out and going, I can't remember who it was. Was it Denmark or something? They were like, look, we're out. We just don't think we can do this. We're not going to waste any more time on this. We're just going to give up. And Roger Bannister at the time was one of the greatest middle distance runners the UK had at that point. And he was a medical student. And he just said, you know what? I have no evidence for this. Normally in medicine, everything is evidence-based. That's what I really like about science, is I can really see the evidence for it, and thus I can believe it. And he was like, I didn't need the evidence for this. He said it was almost implausible for me as a medical student to believe that I couldn't push the human body just that little bit further to shave off a second or two.
Yeah.
And on one day in May 1954, he decided he would go for this attempt, and he actually beat his own mindset initially, because he'd just very shortly before that ran an Olympic race that he was always tipped to come first in, and he'd actually come fourth. So he had like a real crushing defeat. That's the equivalent of an actor going, like your agent ringing you up and saying, hey, listen, this casting director really loves you, really wants to see you for this role. The director, watch your show reel, absolutely loves you. If you go for this audition, you are going to get this role. You just need to turn up. You're going to get it. Yeah. And then the actor doesn't get it. And not only do they not get it, but like someone, that they don't think is as good as them, or like, I don't know, like somebody who was the underdog effectively gets this role. And most actors go, oh, that's it. Maybe they fall out with their agent. Why do you tell me that? Casting directors are liars, blah, 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 blah. So he just sort of been through that in the Olympic world. And yet rather than give up, he went, you know what? No, I'm going to do something no one's done before. And to cut long story short, he broke this 4-minute mile. And most people would think that, that's either a feat, like a real crazy feat of the human body. No one's really going to have a chance to do that again. No one had ever done it in the past. And actually what happened is, how long do you think, let's do a little test now, because we're going to do this in the program. It's maybe giving it away, but it's all right. How long do you think Roger's record, his world record, lasted, guys? So no one in the history of man, thousands of years, had broken the 4-minute mile. Once it had been broken and people's mindset had shifted on what was possible, how long do you think it actually it lasted for? Please let us know in the comments. Just give us a guess. Was it weeks? Was it months? Was it years? How long do you think that record lasted for? We're going to be on about a 20-second delay on Facebook here, Matt, so I have to fill some time as the comments are coming through.
Just play some music.
But wasn't it staggering when we learned about this? We were like, wow, Roger, having completed that, having achieved that thing,
and having done it with nobody believing it was possible. And that's the key
with
thing.
No evidence whatsoever. No one backed him. No one they all thought he was stupid. Once he'd done it, he'd not just changed, his own, his mindset was already open to being able to do it, but he changed literally, thousands upon thousands of runners' mindsets on what they thought was actually possible. And I see, that with a lot of actors, they don't feel that they can do it, and they don't go after it. And then they'll see an outlier, someone who goes and does that thing, and they go, fuck, right, well, if he's done it, now I'm inspired, now I'm going to go and do it. And what we're saying is, if we can cultivate the mindset for you to go for it without seeing anyone else do it, why can't you be the first one to do it? So
this is really hard, and you're right. And so, when you ask me what's the biggest thing, it's the biggest thing because it's challenging. And this is what we've got to reiterate, it's not, we're not saying it's easy to overcome these challenges, but it is simple. And what we're going to be teaching you over the course is the kind of things that are going to give you those kind of tools mentally to start to think a little bit more like that. So I just want to say that, if you're watching this now and you're like, that's me, I do need evidence, I do need support, I do need other people validating me. I guess the thing to say is that doesn't mean you always need to think like that. This is what the kind of premise of the course is really, is to start to shift how you're currently thinking, shift your perspective, change your mindset. And when you change, it's so cheesy this, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you change your mindset, you genuinely will change your life. And that's it.
The guesses are coming through. It was a bit more than a week, Maya, but it wasn't far off. It was actually 46 days. Have I got that right?
Yeah, I think it was 46 or 47. I think it was 46.
Yeah, 46 days. So basically, thousands of years of limiting beliefs around what the human body could do was broken, and within it, the time frame after it was broken, before it was broken again, was only 46 days. And then since
even more
17 seconds has been knocked off.
I was just going to say 17 seconds has been knocked off. From that record, that's the staggering bit for me. They thought they could not do it less than 4 minutes. Roger broke it, and since then another 17 seconds, which is a huge
massive
difference.
Absolutely massive. So
anyway, that's just a great story to make the point. But yeah, I think it is. That's the biggest thing when you look at people who achieve things. And a big thing we cover is the success cycle, which breaks this down brilliantly. But it's not ability, it's not talent, it's not good looks, it's not knowledge and information. All them can play a part, but I see it time and time and time again. It is just that unwavering self-belief.
Well, we go over it in the program as well. Science suggests, because we've really researched this, by the way. We're not scientists. We're not saying we're scientists. We're not. We cover nutrition in the program. We're not nutritionists, but we're really well read and we've really researched this stuff. And science suggests that 85% of people's success in all walks of life is mindset and attitude. And leadership and how they lead themselves throughout their life. 15% is a technical knowledge. 15% basically for actors is like knowing to get on spotlight, having an agent, having your headshots, having a decent reel. They're your technicals. They're the things that you need in your toolbox.
And kind of ability as well. So
talent, obviously,
then
honing that craft.
Is how good of an actor you are. So think about that. 15% is knowing the business, knowing what to do, and being a good actor. That's only 15%. 85% is basically this, your mindset. And this is why, for me, frustrating is maybe the wrong word, because I totally get it. Obviously, I've studied human behavior, but compared to a lot of other acting courses, this isn't like the glossy one. Like first TV role is glossy. Like, oh my God, if I pay to do that course, I'm going to learn how to get my first TV job. There's all these other courses, how to get on Spotlight and how to get a top agent, and all these sound so glossy. But when you understand psychology and you understand all of that is important, but it only makes up and equates 15% of success, and you understand 85% is just your mindset, and then you recognize that that's what this course is covering, the whole course. It's the big chunk that you need to know. And anybody that goes through this program, we are giving you the awareness. We're giving you the exercises to manage emotions better, to understand your own psychology better, to set goals better, which is super important. I see so many people getting that wrong. The stuff that it's one of those quotes again. This is the difference that will make the difference. When everybody else is just focusing on their craft and the acting, this is the thing that will give you the edge.
So let's get some more questions in then. What do people want us to talk about tonight? We're literally here to cover absolutely anything. I feel because we've covered so much in the program, we could talk about anything tonight, really specifically when it comes to acting and actors. So do let us know. What are you struggling with right now? Because I want you to really finish 2022 strong, because so many actors, I say this on most of my weekly broadcasts now, so many actors won't. They really won't. They've already quit. They've already given up. I'm seeing people become bitter and negative on social media, and I'm seeing, obviously there's a lot of hurt in the world right now, and I get that. And hurt people want to hurt people. So I'm seeing a lot of negativity being posted. And I get it. I understand why it is, but let's have a look at, how we can overcome that, so that either you don't get caught up in all of that, or you can go out there and ultimately, make positivity louder as opposed to negativity. Joe says, how are the days running? So very quickly, Joe, we're going to send emails out all about this, but the 2 days are going to be on Zoom 10 till. Now, initially we said preliminary. I can't say the word. Preliminary. Yeah, until 6 o'clock. Preliminarily, I think that was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, I think that's it. 10 till 6. But as we've created this program, we just didn't want to cut any corners. I'm all about part of my identity, and we do a lot of identity work within this program, is that I do things well. I do them comprehensively. I really over deliver value. And that's what we wanted to do in this program. So we will, I'm pretty certain, to get through everything and really deliver it in a way that we get everything across to be as useful as possible. Because remember, you're getting the recordings of this. Yeah. I think we might go till 7, potentially 8 o'clock at a worst case scenario on both Saturday and Sunday. But if you can't make it for all of it, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the recordings of everything. And it would be impossible to think you could get through the program actually as we're teaching it live. We're teaching it live so that you can ask questions live about the modules, but you're then going to go away and really do the deep work when it comes to actually, you know, filling out the workbook and doing everything properly. So yeah, I would block off if you can, if you're available 10 till 8 on both days. Jack, good afternoon. Good evening, even. It's not afternoon because I've been on Zoom with you all afternoon, Matt. Jack says, just landed a small part in 2 episodes of an ITV series. Have no agent. How do I leverage this? Mate, oh my God, this is brilliant. So again, this comes out of mindset. So, right, you need to use this as you have the power here, Jack, right? This is a really empowering situation. 2 things you could do here. 1, I don't know if you've already done your deal, mate. I don't know if you've actually signed a deal and a contract and you understand the money and what you're getting paid for it and that sort of stuff, because you could leverage the fact that you have this opportunity to go to any agent you want, really, you know, cherry pick, go to the agents you really would like to be signed with and say, hey, listen, don't have an agent right now. Through my own hustle, my own work ethic, my own belief system, I've just landed 2 episodes in a top ITV drama. Would you broker the deal for me? And, you know, I'll let you broker the deal and keep the commission on the agreement. You give me 3 months, you know, representation effectively, and let's see how we get on. Because that's a way to sort of like get into an agency that might not normally looks at you if you hadn't had those credits. Alternatively, I mean, some agents actually that I know, when friends have been in the situation, have just brokered that deal for free. They've not even taken any commission on it. And then they go, we'll do the deal for free. And then they will represent you after that, see how you get on. But the power is really in your hands, mate. So don't just give it away and don't just sign with anybody just because they'll have you. Really, it's down to you now, dude, to do the research on who it is you want to sign with and really figure out why you want to sign with them, because it is quite an attractive prospect if an actor off their own volition, which is what we preach at Acts on this all the time. It's what I'm all about, is going and getting work for yourself without anyone else's permission. So if you've done that and you've proven you can do it, you're a commercial asset. Effectively, you've proven you can be profitable. So power's in your hands, Jack. But yeah, keep us posted on how you go on that. That's brilliant, mate. Well,
and it makes me think,
well
when we talk about the success cycle, and I share my story in the course about, you know, when I did the podcast, the thing that I did is I just reached out to people that, you know, could have been perceived as way out of my league when it comes to guests that I wanted on. You know, I was an unknown. My podcast hadn't even been launched yet. And we was reaching out to huge guests that were really well known. And because we just sent it off to so many of them, I think it was over 200 people. A couple of them said yeah. And so we started our podcast with some top guests and started strong. And I kind of relate that to what you're saying here with your advice, Ross, for getting the agents. Go for the best ones out there, because you've got, like, to any agent that's attractive, there's a job on the table and there's money to be made. Okay, I'm listening. So really the sky's the limit as well. And that, I just want to add that, don't limit yourself. Like what you were saying there, Ross, you know, it's an attractive offer. You are a working actor. There's a deal on the table ready. So go for whatever agent and see who knows.
And the really decent actors, the really decent agents as well, Jack, will not take advantage of you. They won't be like, oh, you know, right. Because ultimately the commission's not going to be a fortune for them off 2 episodes. But it is attractive to know that you've been able to do that yourself, because really there's a lot of actors who will not get to that point because they don't want to take the action, because what we said tonight, they don't have the mindset to believe they can. They're like, I need an agent to get work. No, you absolutely don't. It certainly helps a country mile, but it's so doable, you know, on your own, you know, without a doubt. Maya, what's this? And I'm sorry for missing comments, guys. They go by quite fast, and sometimes Facebook doesn't show me them all. But Maya says, feel like I'm in a bit of a fallow period, working on myself and my skills and prepping myself for what is to come. I will be there on the course, which will hopefully help me get ready to surge forward in the new year as Maya 2.0. Wow, that's so funny that you put Maya 2.0.
Already knows.
Because that's in the final module. Maya, that's literally what we do. We build you version 2.0 based off everything that's come before in the first 7 modules of the program. Wow, that's amazing. You just said that. It's almost like a premonition into the future. And that's something we can talk about, Matt. Seasons. Because this is the thing as well. Seasons of your life certainly do not follow the seasons of the year. So right now it's winter. It's horrible. It's grey outside, but you might be smashing it. You might be in a show right now, ready to wrap, and it's summer for you in terms of your career. Everything is blossoming. Everything's blooming. Maybe you're ready to, if you've been working for 6-7 weeks on a great show, you might be coming into a bit of an autumn where things can chill a little bit, and things can kind of calm down. Sometimes, Maya, you need these fallow periods to fallow in terms of farmers leaving the land fallow, is to get it ready for planting seeds and growing next time. So, growing in the summer, in the spring. So it probably will match up for you next year. Early spring will be spring in your career if you utilize this fallow time well. Let's just talk a little bit about that, Matt, in terms of, I guess, laying the foundations, because Bulletproof Actor 2.0, the entire premise of it is really building a really stable, incredible career over a decade as opposed to over a year. So we have a say in the course.
It goes further than that, I think, Ross. It's the stable foundations for an incredible life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important to say, is hopefully by the end of it, you're going, I know exactly what to do for my career, but this spills into helping me in every area of my life to be happier and more fulfilled.
It'll help every decision, moving forward. But yeah, just in terms of people, we say in the program, people overestimate. Well, it comes from Tony Robbins. People overestimate what they can achieve in a year. They massively underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. So sometimes using, good portions of a year, Maya, to actually get yourself prepared and to put in the work in the long run is so much more valuable than trying to squeeze. Elon Musk has this thing of going, we want to squeeze our 10-year plan into 6 months. We've done it. We've tried it, Matt. It just leads to burnout and massive overwhelm and an all in, then all out mentality and a yo-yo of success up and down all the time. You're up 1 minute, you're right down the next. It's far more, when you're working with clients, Matt, it's far more beneficial for people to look for the medium long term rather than just get a quick fix and cut corners.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I've tried every way to set goals under the sun. As Ross said at the beginning, I've had relative success. I'm not the most successful person in the world or anywhere near that. I've done some cool stuff, grown some successful businesses, broken a world record, competed in a bodybuilding competition and actually got a final invite from that and was placed. So I have done some cool stuff.
I'm going to let's give people I'm going to give you a tiny little sneak peek here. You keep talking about, I'm going to bring the slide up where we look at your bodybuilding competition.
Oh gosh,
We're going to look at how you look on stage and you're going to tell us
how I look now.
Well, you're going to tell us the reality of how you felt behind the scenes because you went absolutely all in.
Yeah.
And you did effectively that thing of going, right, you know what, I'm going to be really ambitious and I'm going to set my, I'm going to try and basically squeeze in everything into a short period of time, and I'm going to go hell for leather. And you can tell us what that ultimately did for you. I'm just going to bring up a slide now. Bear me 2 seconds, guys, while I just size this. But just give us a bit of background on that, Matt.
So I mean, one of the things that I was just going to say is I've tried every which way of setting goals, and I've had success in very different ways. But for me, it's about sustainability, and it is about the long-term approach. But with that, something we cover in a hell of a lot of depth in the program is it's also about redefining what you think is a successful actor, and even what is successful for you in life as a person. And I think that when there's also something else we cover, which is about focusing on not just the outcomes and the goals, but also your output and your identity. And there's all this stuff we go through, hopefully in a really, really concise, clear to understand way. But just to kind of surface level explain it, it's about not, you were just saying there, Ross, about planting seeds. It's about not just thinking, oh, I'm only doing well when I'm getting results. Yeah. Sometimes there's so much within your control today that even though they're not amounting to outcomes right now, you are being successful. And again, that's a mindset reframe. And it's about focusing on what you can control, i.e. your output, what you do every day, not what you have no control over, which is the outcome. You know, you've no control over when you're going to get roles. You can only focus on what you do. So yeah, when it comes to goal setting and when it comes to seasons, what we hope you'll get out of this course is a solid mindset that enables you to be at peace, that enables you to be fulfilled, and motivated, regardless of whether you're getting jobs, and not being demotivated like I see so many people are, you know, when it's not all coming together. Oh, hell, there he is.
I've had to size this, so we've cut a little bit of title off here, but this is Matt's experience of basically the all in, then all out mentality. So this is
blonde hair as well.
Great tan. He's got his Ron Seal tan on. He's on stage in his pink shorts. So you look like, you know, jacked. You're in a bodybuilding competition. You're smiling. Everything looks amazing in your life. People might see this on Instagram and go, "Oh my God, I feel so insignificant. I haven't got the chest, not got the biceps."
I feel like that looking at it, Ross. I think that.
But this is the thing that we talk about, you know, comparing your backstage to other people's front stages. People would have thought Matt's crushing it there. From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was really sort of like one of the most challenging, sort of darkest times in your life.
Yeah, it was really extreme, really intense. I was under huge pressure. It was so restrictive. It was not pleasant in any way, shape, or form. I'm grateful for the experience, because you know how you can value the wrong things in life, and you can think happiness will be when I have a six pack, or happiness will be when I get those acting roles and I've quote unquote made it, whatever made it is, or happiness will be when I have an amount of money or I find the perfect partner. You know how, because of what society suggests is success, it's so easy to fall into that trap. Achieving something like I achieved here made me really recognize that it is all a lie. It's all rubbish. And chasing an external win, an external validation, and putting yourself in an extreme situation in the short term is everything that success isn't, actually. So this was super challenging, super tough, and it wasn't sustainable. And I'm talking about I developed an eating disorder. That's the first thing to say. To be able to get on stage in that shape and deal with the pressure, because I was having check-ins with my coach most mornings, 5 a.m. in my boxer shorts. You know, it was unbelievable pressure. So I had an eating disorder. I would binge eat. I would eat loads of food, and then I would throw up afterwards. And it was everything I don't preach. It was
It's not in alignment with your identity. It's almost completely out of character.
At all. But what an amazing experience to learn some lessons, and you know, I can now share that. I get clients all the time that come just like the old Matt, which is full of ambition, full of enthusiasm. They've got unrealistic expectations. And I hope that one of the gifts I've got from being in this challenging period in my life is to go, the all-in mentality is not the right mentality. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. And I'm talking about within days after this, not weeks or months. Within days, I drastically put on body fat. Within hours, in actual fact. And that's something a lot of people don't realize about photo shoots and bodybuilding competitions and things. You can look totally different within a few hours. You know, just eating a sandwich or something after, that six pack was gone. So literally, and I really struggled mentally afterwards, for months afterwards. And this has been a real process for me of learning since. But as I say, the real positive now is I know the signs, I know the dangers, and I believe now I'm able to give such better advice for anybody that's thinking that short term, as you said, Ross, that Elon Musk, you know, try and do all your 10-year goals in 6 months. This short term thinking, it's ludicrous, and it's rubbish, absolute rubbish.
Yeah. So everything that we coach is really about sustainability. It's about actually enjoying building an amazing life and an amazing career. It's not overwhelming yourself. You know, we go through setting 2 to 3 ambitious, still game-changing goals per year, but how you go about that. And one thing, I'm going to answer your question in a second, Veronica. She's put a great question here, actually. But one thing that we can just touch on briefly now, just for those people, just to give people value, for something to think about, is we mentioned before, you know, most people in the acting industry, you know, as actors, we kind of know what it is we want. You know, you get specific, you know, and you can go, right, well, I want a role on that show or that kind of thing. I'd play this kind of character, or I want that agent. And we know what we want. And we very often know how we're going to get it. We know the steps involved, a bit like the six-pack thing. Yeah, you know, we know to get a six-pack, we, you know, eat well and we do sit-ups. So we know that. One thing that actors very rarely focus on, and human beings in general, is who they need to believe they are in order to do those sit-ups, in order to actually take the action to get that agent, in order to take the action to get that self-tape, to do that self-tape, to land the role that will change their life. They focus on what it is they want, how they're going to get it, but never about who they need to believe they are in order to achieve it. And that's all down to the identity work that we cover in the program. Just sort of cover that for people, you know, for those people, and again, you might not be able to be there. It's fine in terms of, you know, so we're not here to, you know, give you the pressure sell to buy tickets. I just want to help people at least have, you know, things to think about, even if they can't, you know, they don't have the resources to get involved in this weekend. But how important is identity in life? Because it's almost the missing piece of the puzzle in every area, really.
Yeah, we call it the goal setting gap in the course, don't we? We say it's the gap that people are missing. And I learned this years ago, and it was a game changer, because it's so true what you said, Ross. People do. I mean, put it in the comments, just let a bit of honesty here. You know, if this has been you, do you feel like you've gone through stages in your life where you're kind of writing the same new year, new me goals every single year?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I didn't achieve it again, so this year will be my year. And then it goes, and this is why I love our approach, Rosh, about it being long term, is years do go by pretty quick. I'm sure people will agree. So just having a bit more patience and thinking a bit more long term, reducing overwhelm, being a bit more specific is already a huge advantage when it comes to setting goals. But then when we start to look at identity, that's what 99.999% of people miss. They don't actually think about, as you said there, Ross, like, who do I need to believe I am? And this is the trick, the hack, if you like, because people will always act in alignment with who they believe they are. So think about some
really basic examples. Yes, people really get it.
Think about this now. If you have got a goal every year that's like, I want to lose body fat and I want to be a bit healthier and I want to get in a certain shape, whatever that may be, people know what they want, and they might even get a PT to help them get specific on the goal. They know what they need to do. It might be get up early, get some steps in, go to the gym, work out. It might be eat certain foods. But if they don't work on their identity, this is what happens. And this might be a light bulb moment for a few people as they think about this. They're acting out of alignment with who they are. So whilst they're going at the gym, they're telling themselves, this ain't me. I'm not a gym person. I hate working out. I hate the gym. I just have to do it to get that result. And when they're eating the lettuce and the broccoli, they're going, oh, I hate broccoli. I hate lettuce. I'm not that sort of person. I like chocolate. I like to sit on the settee, you know, watch Netflix and not go out and get my steps. And this is the secret. This is where people are going wrong. They're not working on their mindset. So they're doing stuff that isn't who they are. And they're telling themselves, this isn't me. I've just got to do it. I have to do it. What we work on in this course is, okay, what happens if we shift the identity and we start to value different things and we start to change who we believe we are? Then our ego gets involved. And this is the interesting bit. When your ego is involved, when you truly believe, hang on, I'm somebody who values health, actually. I have high expectations of myself, actually. Ego gets involved.
Yeah,
so
I'm
then
not
you're
a quitter.
naturally...
I'm not a quitter. Yeah, I'm resilient. You know,
right.
I go the extra mile.
Right. So if that's who you believe you are and you want to quit, you're going to be much more likely to keep on going. And this is something we go in huge depth on the program with. But really, it's the same with, you know, your acting career. It's the same with making money. It's the same with, there's a great, we've taken an excerpt out of James Clear's book called Atomic Habits, which is a fantastic book. And it really goes into depth about this subject. And I highly, highly recommend people get it. But he speaks about the example of somebody who's quitting smoking. Yeah. And he talks about there's two people at a party and they both get offered a cigarette, and first person gets offered it responds by saying, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. On the surface sounds sounds
good.
Yeah, that's what people say. Oh, no thanks, I'm trying to be good. That's what people say with fat loss. I'm trying to be good. And this person says, I'm trying to quit. The second person gets offered a cigarette and their response is, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. And this is the difference. The first person still believes they're a smoker. They still identify as being somebody who smokes. That's what I do.
And they're just trying.
I'm trying. And that's the key word. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to quit. Second person's in exactly the same boat. Difference is they've changed their mindset. They no longer identify as being a smoker. That's not who I am. That's a previous life. Therefore, why would I do it? I wouldn't smoke. It makes no sense because I'm not a smoker. And this is what we delve into, isn't it? It's about when you really figure out where this is going wrong in terms of you're identifying with things that do not align with the actions you need to take to achieve your goals. When we shift that, that's the absolute game changer, I would say.
Yeah, and how you actually identify with what an actor is. So few people actually think about this, because it's almost like the identity of an actor has been forced upon them as somebody who, you know,
in Corrie.
Well, by their employment status. That's how we describe it in the program. It's like most people's identity as an actor is defined by their employment status. Yep. If I'm working on TV, I'm an actor. If I'm not, I'm an aspiring actor. I'm trying to act. I do a bit of acting, as opposed to redefining for themselves what an actor is for them. So for me, an actor is creative. You know, an actor creates work without having to have permission from anybody else. You know, an actor is one big thing for me is detail oriented. Someone who wets the small stuff. You know, someone who will,
but equally not a perfectionist, because we understand perfect.
Someone is better than perfect. Yeah. You know, so still being productive like that. You know, someone who is, who will go the extra mile, who will give more of themselves than other people expect. So many positive things, not dictated to whether I'm in work or not. So they're the things that will align with the action that I need to say. Well, you know what? If I'm creative without the need for anyone else's permission, what have I done this week to be creative? Have I written something? Have I shot something? Have I edited something? You know, because if that's my identity, I'm far more likely to take action in line with it, as opposed to thinking, well, I'm an actor when I'm on Netflix. And then that's so demotivating because I'm not on it. I don't have any sort of energy or ambition to do the things I need to do to get on it. So I just spend a whole day binging a series, crying about why I'm not on Stranger Things. Or season 4 is coming out in February. I cannot wait for that. I think it's February.
Oh wow,
mate, it's one of my favorite programs ever, and I know I'm going to watch it and be jealous because I didn't audition for it, and it was all my own fault. So full responsibility for it. I should have done more work to get auditions for it. A lot of my friends got auditions for it. My mate Ed Splares is in it, so I'm going to watch it with jealousy. But jealousy is a positive emotion when you use it to fuel you to take action. So you can use jealousy as a barometer almost to go, well, why am I jealous of that person? Well, actually, because they've got what I want. So therefore, if I'm working towards that thing, I'm in the right direction. I'm never going to be jealous of Lewis Hamilton winning a race because I don't want to be a Formula One driver. So if you're jealous, it means that you want that thing. So if you're going after it, so if you're on the path to getting that, then you're in the right place. Veronica, it's not a silly question at all. She says, I feel silly for asking this, but would you be able to explain how do you say no without feeling guilty? I'm in no position to turn down work, but the commercial I was asked to sell tape for just didn't sit right with me despite a generous buyout. It kept me anxious all weekend as I felt horrible for saying no to my agent. And once I sent that email, I felt relieved, but I'm now being asked what's the reason for turning down the job, and I've no idea what to say. I've got so much to say on this, Veronica, but Matt, the importance of owning your no, it's way more powerful than your yes. In terms of by saying yes to something, Veronica, you need to realize this for a start. By saying yes, by default, you're already saying no to something else. So even when you say yes, you're saying no. Yeah. So don't worry about it. So by saying no, you're actually saying yes to another opportunity. So you're not saying no. No and yes doesn't exist. You know, they're inherently linked. When you say no, you're saying yes to something else. And when you say yes, by default, you're saying no to something else. So for me, there have been things where I am someone who identifies as a healthy person. I strongly, going back to that smoking analogy before, I strongly stand for everything that is not smoking. I hate it. I wish it was banned. I've seen it ruin people's lives. Everything. I just cannot stand it. As an actor, I think sometimes lazy scripts where they don't know what to give the characters to do. They go, oh, in this scene, they're smoking. I have stood by my entire career and will never, ever, ever smoke as an actor. I don't smoke in real life. It's not who I am. I never want to do it. I don't care if they're herbal or bullshit, whatever else. I don't care what they are. I am never, ever, ever putting that in my body. I hate it, right? There have been times, Veronica, where I have either landed a role And I mean, like, I've actually got the job by that point. And then I've got the rest of the scripts. It says, oh, in this scene, Mike goes out to smoke with his colleagues. And I have told my agent, I've had to tell the writer and the director, I said, I'm so sorry if this is an inconvenience. If I refuse, I will not smoke in any scene. And if that is a problem, and because I understand that's me saying no to something, but if that is a problem, I will forfeit the job. And these have been BBC dramas because I believe so much in that as my identity that I will not relinquish on it. I will not compromise on certain things. So for me, it's very easy to say no when I believe it. So for you, if that advert didn't sit well with you, maybe it was for something that you don't like. Maybe it's for gambling, or maybe if you're a vegan, it's for an animal product or something like that. Please know that your values are so important. Your identity is so important to you. When you put your head on the pillow at night, if you have acted out of alignment with who you think you are, that's far more damaging than not having $2,000 as a buyout in your bank, Veronica. It's like, it really is. You did exactly the right thing there. And any agent who makes you feel bad about it, screw them, because they're just looking at it for what the monetary loss is for them. It's disgusting. If you do not like a job, you must say no to it, because it's for you. It's your career. It's not their career. So your no is really, really powerful. But just know that by saying no, you actually said yes to something else. And by saying yes, you're actually by default having to say no to something else. So they're both intertwined. What would you say on it, Matt?
Well, first thing I'm going to say on this is why I'm working with you, Ross. It's so refreshing to hear that. And this is why I love Act on This, because you're absolutely spot on. And for me, and this is something I have to work on with people a lot, because I understand it when we talk about guilt. But when you flip that, why should you ever feel guilt for being authentically honest and truthful? You should never feel guilt for being honest, as long as you know your integrity is intact, and you know your values, you know you're a good person, you're not doing anything to harm or hurt. That's what I was going for. Anybody intentionally, as long as you know that, zero guilt. Like literally that, zero guilt. Not everything's going to be for everybody, and that's okay. And I love the bit you said about the agent, Ross, because if your agent doesn't stand by you, then they're not the agent for you. They're in it for the wrong reasons, and their values shouldn't align with yours, is what I would say. If they're just looking for money, wrong mindset.
And please don't think that all agents, I'm not saying anything about your agent at all, but I'm not going to mention any names here, but I tell you what, 2022 has been such an interesting year for me, learning about certain agents and how they operate, newer agents who have maybe cropped up in the last 2 or 3 years since the pandemic. There's some genuinely pretty dodgy shit going down in this industry. I'm like, agents acting badly as well. Don't think just because someone's an agent that they're suddenly holier than thou. There's a hierarchy and they're better than you. I'm seeing agents, I can't say,
what can you say? Tell us everything.
Agents actively poaching other actors from other agents, I think, is a massive no-no. People literally saying to them, are you happy with your agent? No. Just put it on Spotlight that you're signed with us, and forget any sort of agreement with your past agent. We'll override it. I heard that today of someone. An agent actually said that to an actress. I'm like, wow. That's just meant. If they're prepared to do that to get you on board, what are they prepared to do when, to you, effectively? If they're prepared to screw another colleague, okay, it's from a different agency, but if they're prepared to screw a peer over in the industry,
what would they do?
They're capable of doing that to you. It's like if you get with I don't know, say for instance you're with a partner, and then someone outside tries to get you to cheat with them, then I promise you, when you're with them, if you decide to go with them, they'll probably do the same to you.
Or at least you're never going to trust them. You're always going to know they're capable of it. So how can you trust that relationship?
And honestly, the agents, there's some just bad behavior going down. Like, please speak to other actors confidentially before you sign with anybody. Because what I've also noticed this year as well is on social media, certain agencies have a certain persona, and their clients are afraid of actually talking about anything that they're unhappy with to other actors about their agent, because they believe through the social media presence of their agent that all the other clients must be really happy. Well, no one else is saying anything. It seems like this agent's smashing it, so everyone must be really, really happy with them. Yeah. There's some real mutiny behind the scenes with certain agencies in this industry. I'm just sitting back with my popcorn waiting for it to kick off.
Ross,
it'll all go down at some point.
Not long before I kind of stopped being an actor, not my last agent were brilliant, David Daly. But before them,
great. Yeah. Been in the industry years and years and years. David Daly,
super trustworthy, super honest. But my agent before them, just a really quick story. The lady who was my agent, we went out for dinner. And the reason I'm sharing this story is just to kind of follow on from your point, Ross, it's about if you spot that red flag, act on it. Don't accept it. And we was waiting for some food, and I just remember she clicked at the waitress. That was the first red flag. She clicked at the waitress. God. And she said, if you don't speed up, I've got a big Twitter following and I've got a lot of influence. I will personally tag you. Right? No, this is the bit. This is the bit. She then looked at me and went, that's how you do it. And I died. And in that moment, I was like, you are never representing me ever. And she thought, she was proud. Like, this is how I get what I want, hun. And I'll get you what you want, hun. And I was like,
oh my God. No, you get what you want by being kind to other people and offering value. Don't be a knob. Sally Ann, let's answer this question. I know you've asked it twice. I hope we answered that question for you though, Veronica, about no's. Embrace your no's. It's really powerful. It's more powerful than saying yes to stuff. Yeah. So Leanne says, do you have any tips for tonight on anxiety, Matt, please? We cover anxiety loads in the free training we did recently, and obviously a lot of the stuff that we cover in Bulletproof Actor deals with anxiety when it comes to reducing overwhelm, reducing stress. Procrastination, for example, is a huge thing we cover in the course. Yep. Generally fueled by anxiety and stress. Procrastination is a stress avoidance technique that people don't realize they're doing it. You're procrastinating and not starting on a task that you need to do and get done to progress your acting career. Generally through anxiety, overwhelm, and stress. But a couple of maybe quick fixes, quick things, strategies to just deal with anxiety? It's always going to be there in our lives. You cannot eliminate it entirely. But for Sally Ann, any advice you can maybe implement this week, Matt?
100%. There, as you've said, and I just want to really highlight that, there's loads to cover. So I'm only going surface level. But the first thing I would say is feeling anxious, generally, all that is an emotion. It's a feeling. And one thing we know about emotions, and this is quite shocking, I think, for a lot of people that don't already realize this. In fact, let's just do it super, super quick. Please put in the chat.
Let's do it.
What do you think is the longest you can feel a certain emotion? So if you've maybe felt rejected, or you've felt down, or you felt disappointment, upset, anger, frustration, if you reflect on a period in your life with any of those emotions, how long do you think was the longest you felt an emotion for in a prolonged period of time? Just literally...
Let us know in the chat. Let's say you didn't get a job, an acting job that you really wanted. You got down to the last two, for example, or something like that. How long were you hurt by that situation? Because we're going to look at actually how long emotions can, on a biological level, last in your body. How long do you think they can last? We're going to be on about a 20, 25 second delay, so we have to just wait for the comments to come through, Matt.
Have courage. Put your guesses in. I'm not telling you the answer until you guess. Come on. Just guess, have a think. There's no, it's not going to be embarrassing if you don't know it, but I always find this interesting.
And Sally's saying nighttime anxiety in particular. So we can discuss that as well. But this still applies. Sally.
Right, so we've got Nicola Fisher in the house.
Oh, Nicola, you've been Googling.
No. She's fully disqualified because she's one of my clients. So that's totally not fair. But she's absolutely right. Well done for remembering, Nicola. It's 90 seconds on a biological level, as Ross says there, for an emotion to go through its entire process, if you like, is 90 seconds. Now, people will say, yeah, but I know I've felt a certain way for weeks, days, months, and so on. What we need to understand about emotion is the thing that keeps prolonging it is the fact that we think about something that re-triggers that feeling. So just think about that for a moment. That is what prolongs an emotional state. So we have something happen, and it's perfectly natural to have an emotional response, but that actual emotion lasts 90 seconds. The issue we get into is we then keep thinking about the problem, and we keep replaying the thing that we don't like and the negative thing. So what we then do is re-trigger the emotion. And that is what can keep us in a negative emotional state, like anxiety, for hours and hours, weeks, and so on. So the reason I explain that is because that's about taking back a little bit of power. And the first thing I would say to anybody that's feeling a negative emotion is bring your conscious awareness to, what am I actually thinking about right now?
Yep.
And there will lie the answer why you feel anxious. It might be, oh, I'm anxious that I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I might be anxious that tomorrow at work's going to go awful, or I'm anxious that I've got an audition that's going to go wrong. If you feel anxious, it's not like an accident. After the initial emotion, you are consciously choosing to focus on the thing that creates anxiety. So the thing that we've got to do is start to shift our focus and trigger a new emotion. Now, again, I'm not saying this is easy. And obviously there's varying levels of emotion. There's extreme trauma, which is very, very different. And it's important that, we say that.
Yeah.
But in a generalized speaking kind of way, 9 times out of 10, if you're feeling anxious, you do have the power to shift your focus to things that are going to, and it's often like you're focusing on the problem rather than the solution. So shift your focus from thinking about, oh, this is going to go wrong and that happens and they're going to think this, to what's my solutions? And it's also usually thinking about things you can't control. You've zero control over. Shift it to what can I control? What am I in control of? So one is shifting your focus and the other is changing your physiology. And what I mean by that is it's your breathing, it's your facial expressions, it's your shoulders and your physical appearance. Now, if you feel anxious, as actors, we know how to create anxiety because we might have to do it for a part. So what will we do? The first thing we'll do is shift our focus. This is what emotional recall is, right? You will think about a time in your life when you was anxious. To actually go back there. That's the first thing you do. You shift your focus to a negative time. Then what will you do with that? You'll change your physiology. So you might put your head down. You might change your breathing. Your shoulders are down. And you physically embody anxiety. Well, we can flip that. What is the physiology of somebody who's confident, who's not got anxiety? They're going to smile, right? Their eyes are going to widen. They're maybe going to have the head held high. They're going to have their chest puffed out. So again, this is something that takes practice and it's not something that's like that simple, but with work, there are 2 key things. Shift what you're thinking about, change your physiology to not embody anxiety, and naturally you're going to start to think and feel slightly different. And you might have to keep working on it. It's not just like, boom, there, I'm done. Those negative thoughts, we talk about in the course, negativity bias, it's natural to think negative thoughts. But when you have this awareness and these kind of hacks, if you like, by working on it, it's going to help with anxiety.
Our brain is literally wired to cultivate negative thought patterns, and they are just a habit as well. Like procrastination, and we go over this in the program, is a habit. It's ultimately a habit that can be broken. So it's thinking negatively as well. And if this is happening particularly at night, who is it, Sally Ann? It might be that you're able to sort of bathe in your thoughts a lot easier at night because you're not at work, there's less distractions, there's less people around you. And if you're an naturally anxious person who has developed this real ability, like we can very easily do to develop these negative thought patterns, these loops that go round and round again. When you're laying in bed, you have nothing to distract you from doing that. It's way easier to sit there and really bathe in these negative thoughts. So there's 5 questions you can ask yourself that we go over in the program. We won't go over them all now, but the one that always stands out for me, 2 actually. So the first one really, there's 2 out of the 5 that I think really have the biggest impact for me. One is, what is the reality of this thought? Yep. What's happened? What has happened? Because sometimes, for instance, maybe I know actors recently, there's quite a few have been released by agents. So what they do is that can trigger this whole negative thought pattern that just goes round and round again. And that's generally like, I've been dropped, therefore I'm no good. Therefore, no agent's ever going to take me on. I'm never going to get any work. I'm going to be stuck in my day job. And they negatively stack. And so ultimately they hit the realization that that's it. I just might as well be quit. I might as well quit. I'm done as an actor. I'm failed. Which is not the case at all. All that's actually happened factually is they've been released by an agent. Well, is that it? Yeah, that's actually what's happened. Then you can say, well, what meaning and emotions am I putting onto this fact? Because I'm doing it. I'm coming up with all that stuff that says I'm not good enough. I'm never going to work again. No one's ever going to sign me. So it's called
layers of perception. So just to explain that, Ross, it's layers of perception. And what that ultimately is it's an interpretation of the facts.
Yeah, it's interpretation.
That's what we have to recognize is there's facts, there's evidence, and there's an interpretation of how you make that, what you make that mean in your mind, basically. And that's what Ross is saying there. By asking that simple question, what is the reality, not my interpretation, and then going, now let me think about what meaning am I giving it, you can start to recognize which is the bit you're in control of which you're making up.
Yeah, you can start to unpick it and go, hang on a second, these aren't connected.
Yes.
I'm layering this on top of this. And then the other thing I suggest, one of the other 5 questions is, what's the gift or opportunity?
Love that.
And that might sound so incongruent, you know, like I had to ask this when I first developed the first Bulletproof Actor program, I had to apply this and ask myself this about my own dad's death. I was going, hang on a second, this sounds absolutely crazy. It sounds so incongruent. You know, I shouldn't be asking what's the gift within my dad's death. But ultimately, the alternative is to constantly focus on the tragedy, which re-triggers that emotion. And I never get over it. You know, people say you never get over it. Like, I don't know, maybe that's controversial, but I think you can. I think you can use it as an empowering, unless something super tragic happened. If someone was murdered, it's probably different. My dad died of natural causes. Nothing could have been done about it. But it's not that, you know, that's a terrible thing. Oh, I'm over my dad's death. I'm using it as fuel. I'm using it as a gift. I look at it and go, well, actually, you know what? What were the gifts in that situation that I couldn't see at the time? You know, I got 24 years. I say this in the course, Matt, 24 years with my dad. He only got 5 years with his dad. What a gift it was, that other 19 years that he didn't get to spend. And some people never even know their dads. You know, what did my dad teach me about work ethic? All the gifts that he gave me there, masses. He's the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. You know, what do I take away from him passing at just 60? Well, you know what? Like, I'm blessed with the knowledge and the education that people of his generation didn't get around health and fitness and really looking after myself. You know, there's so many gifts within that situation.
His final words to you, right? That really empower you today.
Yeah, biggest gift. Yeah, literally the last thing he ever said to me was, "You look after your mum." And at the time, I was working for minimum wage in a toy shop. My mum's blind; she can't work for herself. Loads of sort of like, there was loads of emotions around that. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, it was the biggest kick up the arse I've ever had in my life to actually sort my shit out. And I think the way that you explained it to me that always stuck with me is that you said I could label this as a tragedy and I lose again and again and again. Every day of my life. At the time I was 24, I was like, well, you know what? I want to get to 100. I'm going to look after myself. I've got potentially 76 years of losing if I don't choose to look for the gifts within the situation. So if you're anxious about stuff, sometimes asking yourself the question, what good is there in the situation that I cannot currently see? What are the gifts? What are the opportunities right now? You know, I love, we always say, you know, if I'm confused, then embrace it. I'm about to learn something new. It's always about shifting your focus from the negative to the positive. And it takes effort because your brain's not designed for it. Your brain's literally wired. There's nothing broken about you, by the way, if you think that you know, oh, I just always think negatively. Your brain's designed to do that, to keep you alive. It's just to keep you basically safe and comfortable. It's not designed to get you out into your stretch zone and actually achieve things. It's just not designed for that. You have to actively work against what your brain's designed to do, really, to push through those barriers. But I think, if you're getting nighttime anxiety, it's probably because you're left alone with your thoughts a lot more than you are through the day. So then it's even more important to realize that the emotions you're feeling are being triggered by those thoughts. And if we can shift our focus, like Matt said, onto something that's a better way of framing the situation and get excited as opposed to fearful, then the emotions will change that you're you know, manifesting effectively, that you're bringing into your body. But biologically, the 90-second emotion thing is really interesting. How that, from feeling that emotion to it literally being flushed from your system biologically, is only 90 seconds. So if you're re-triggering it 100 times a day, that 90 seconds, you know, is another 90 seconds, another 90 seconds, another 90 seconds, another 90 seconds. And that's why you can often go for weeks feeling like shit, months. I've done it myself over certain things in my life, you know, for months and months and months. And it's me. I know I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, I have to break this. I know going down that garden path and thinking about that again leads me to the same place every time. I cannot drive, cliched, I cannot drive a car forwards by staring in the rearview mirror. Yeah, and that's what we do in our lives. We stare in the rearview mirror, expecting somehow to move forward. So it's.
And the other thing I think, just quickly to say on anxiety, is it's often caused by focusing on something going wrong in the future, and it's not happened yet. You know, we don't have that evidence. So something that we say is, you don't know the outcome yet, so choose to focus on faith, not fear. And I think that's a great thing, just to remember that faith, not fear, rather than focusing on all the things that could go wrong. Have faith of how well it could go. And by just, you know, it's about visualization. It's about focusing on the future. Something we talk about as well is another visualization exercise is think of a time in your life where you did something you was genuinely proud of and something you achieved. Remember you're still that person. And by really committing to visualizing about that, that can also help you have more faith and be more positive. So again, like I say, it's quite a complex thing. There's loads we can cover, but I think we've given quite a few pointers there that hopefully are useful.
Yeah, yeah. And Maya says as well, she's had some panic attacks at night and now she realized why. It's because, ultimately she's got more time to think and worry. Yeah. And it will, your brain will default to that place, particularly if you're being influenced by the media right now and you're keeping up to date with the news. It would seem that so many things in the world are against us right now. We just got over 2 years of a really, sort of like such a unique time in history that many generations will never face. It's life, just being a human being is challenging, already stressful, so by having ambitious goals and wanting to achieve more, by default, you are having to put your body through even more stress to achieve those things. So it's no wonder people want to quit. Like, totally get it. But, this whole program that we're doing at the weekend is designed to give you the tools and strategies so that you are not one of those people who does fold. So we'll wrap it up in a second. But yeah, bulletproofactor.com if you really want to, master your mindset once and for all. Take part in this weekend over the 26th and 27th of November. It's got all the details on the page there about everything that's involved in the program. It says there, really, it's a must-have program if you're an actor who doubts yourself and struggles with confidence in your own ability, if you're a procrastinator who always feels busy but never productive, if you experience regular anxiety, whether that's in or out of your acting career, and ultimately, if you're just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and you're ready to make big changes in your life and acting career. Because it is one thing we'll caveat as well. We say at the start of the program, none of this stuff will work if you don't. Like, you really have to commit, like you would do to a fitness plan or anything at all. You have to commit to implementing this stuff daily in order for it to have lasting change. You can't just go and do a set of bicep curls in the gym and have big biceps for the rest of your life. You need to do this stuff daily and work out regularly. But I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the beautiful thing for anybody on this intake is you've got the 4 weeks of aftercare, you've got the WhatsApp group, you've got the Facebook group. So the hardest bit is committing to doing the work when you're on your own, but you're not going to be on your own. We've got this weekend, which is super exciting, but you've got access to the program forever, for life, to keep coming back, to keep reminding yourself of the lessons and the exercises and the workbook you can reprint out and do the exercises again. But also for this intake only, because when this course is sold in the future, we won't have this, unfortunately. No. But anybody doing it this week, you get to have the aftercare, the daily accountability, support, motivation, the community. And that is so, so valuable. I always speak about, one of the most important things when it comes to achieving goals is not the information you learn, because information's great. Like, okay, I know how to lose weight. Brilliant. But what if you're not inspired to do the things about losing weight? What if you can't be bothered? You're demotivated. So I always say it's not information that's the important bit. It's the inspiration, being around the right people, the right community, having the support, the push, the motivation, the encouragement, and indeed that inspiration. That's the thing that's going to push you to do stuff you probably wouldn't do alone. So, yes, it might be overwhelming, but you've got such a fantastic opportunity to really be supported through this over the weeks ahead.
Boom. Bulletproofactor.com. If you do want to grab your place, as we're here live, you've got about 4 days to get a ticket. I think we're capping at 120. I think we're at 109. So there's only 11 places left anyway. But yeah, don't hang about. If you're on the fence, honest to God, I can say this with confidence now because we finished the program. It's without a doubt. I will say it's the best mindset program I've ever seen, because we've taken so many ourselves and we've chosen the stuff that really resonates and really works, and let's just be honest, it's not all our work in terms of, we have worked with so many coaches over the years, that we've got the luxury of actually choosing the stuff that really has an impact and has really worked with us. Matt's got some frameworks that he's invented himself, but we do reference a lot of incredibly successful people who have really redefined personal development. And it's only the stuff that we know has an impact. Some programs I've done where I've gone, oh yeah, that one module out of 8, yeah, that was good. So, yes. But that's it. And then I'll do another one and go, oh, well, that module out of those 6, that one's good. What we're doing is we're taking that module out of the 6 and that module out of the 8, and we're creating 8 modules that are brilliant.
And and this is a genuine just fact. For a fraction of the price I paid for a lot of this coaching and a lot of these courses, we're genuinely trying to make this as affordable, as accessible, and as results-based as possible. But genuinely, I said that at the beginning, and it's the absolute truth. For the last few years, I've spent over £50,000 on learning this stuff. And that's me alone. I know you've also spent thousands as well.
Yeah, tens of thousands,
And there's a lot where I've spent thousands of pounds on a course and there might have been one or two nuggets that were brilliant. And the rest I was like, oh my gosh, it is not worth what I paid. So I know what it feels like to be shortchanged. And for that reason, you know, we have huge pride, I guess, don't we?
Yep.
In knowing we're over delivering so much more than we're asking
to the point where we're a bit worried, where we're like, right, okay,
we're doing too much.
Like, I mean, literally, I mean, this is a program. If you just took this and you did no more personal development the rest of your life, but you kept coming back to this, you'd be set for life.
I agree.
Yeah,
100%
not joking.
agree.
Honestly, literally, you know, if anything, we've given too much. Like, you know, we cover everything from, I mean, even stuff in there that people wouldn't think about mindset when it comes to nutrition and sleep, morning routines, evening routines,
everything.
You know,
and to the point where we've been discussing
side hustles.
Yeah. We've been discussing the content and gone, is that too much? Is it too much to give them? And actually what we've said is no, because the point of this course is it is there for life. So if you take one thing out of this weekend and implement it for a year, you'll result, then come to another thing next year and get a result. We want to give you everything, like Ross said, so you never need to spend 50 grand on courses like I have. Bloody hell, why didn't you do this for me, Ross? So you never need to do that, and you never need to buy another mindset course again. Like, it's everything. Of course, you might need extra support and things like that, and that's where, you know, things like one-to-one coaching is useful. But in terms of the information and the learning, it's all there, isn't it? It really genuinely is all there. And we've got one hell of a weekend ahead of us. There's a lot to teach.
We
need to make sure we get our sleep.
I was going to say, we talk about sleep. I don't know how much we'll be getting. You guys will be fine. But yeah, I don't know how much we'll be getting. But yeah, and the lovely thing is about the accountability in the WhatsApp group and the Facebook group is it runs until Christmas Eve, which I love. Christmas is a wonderful time for me. For those people, I know it's not for everybody because, you know, there's people that relate to it differently depending on their childhood and all kind of stuff like that. But the mindset stuff will help. The mindset stuff will help you redefine past experiences. You know, to be honest with you, if Christmas is a traumatic time for you for various reasons, like, you know,
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those who identified it as for years. I lost someone really close to me when I was 15, and she was a big part of our Christmas and family and all that. And for years, I was one of those people. I absolutely hate Christmas and I just want it over with and I've no love for it anymore. So I can categorically tell you, working on this stuff for your mindset, I'm well excited for Christmas. Can't wait.
It's brilliant. And and we'll finish the accountability on Christmas Eve. So the point is you go into Christmas, you know, knowing what you've got to do in the new year. You've got all your ducks in a row. And you can wake up on New Year's Day or, well, a few days after, because I think it's bank holiday, and really get stuck in and start the new year productive. That's the main thing. Ultimately, get ahead of your competition. That's what it's about.
And really enjoy Christmas, knowing you've got all your shit in order. That's the other thing, innit? You know, again, when it comes to enjoying being present with family and you know, pigging out and all that stuff, being able to do that, knowing you are clear on your new year, you're clear on your goals and it's all set and you know, you've smashed everything you could have, it only enables you to have even more fun and you know, enjoy it. So that's our hope for everybody on the course.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you. If you've already got a ticket, it means the world investing in yourself, betting on yourself and trusting us with that investment. And keep an eye on your email this week. I sent you all an email today, but the workbook's going to go up in the members area probably Wednesday. The Facebook group will probably open Wednesday. We'd love it if you'd post an introductory video in there, just getting to know the other students on the course, the other actors on the program. And then the Zoom links will be sent out probably Thursday. There'll be one separate Zoom link for the Saturday and a separate Zoom link for the Sunday. And just get ready. Yeah, knuckle down. There'll be long days, but massively transformational. So thanks for being here. Cheers for doing this again, Matt. We've ran over a bit tonight, but I could do this every week. I could do it every week, really. I love it, man. It's really
thanks for having me, Ross. And then genuinely, just to reiterate what Ross has said, I'm so grateful to every single one of you that's invested in yourself. I know, you know, finances are tough for a lot of people. It's a very challenging, uncertain time, and I don't take it for granted that you're investing in, you know, the both of us and Bulletproof Actor as a brand. So thank you for trusting in us. You know, well done for investing in yourself, because I've got a lot of respect for people that do bet on themselves and do
massively,
that.
Yeah.
And I, my absolute word to you and my promise is I will give you everything we possibly can to make you 10x that investment, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, you know, so you can genuinely be the happiest, the most fulfilled. And one of the things, just to leave it, is to reiterate that point that you genuinely have no bigger asset than your mindset. You know, the world is a very, very different place. if this isn't working for you, right? So again, acting classes, brilliant, going to workshops, all this stuff on the business and the craft is so important. But I honestly believe there's nothing more important if you want success in your acting career, but more importantly, success in your life. And I don't just mean Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
I mean, success inside, to really feel, worthy, to have self-esteem, to have genuine, authentic confidence. Those are the things that you're invested in if you're doing Bulletproof Actor. And I think it's the most important thing you can invest in. So massive well done, massive thank you. And I look forward to working with you all and spending a hell of a lot of time with you this weekend.
You'll be sick of Matt by the end of December. You'll be like, Matt.
They probably already are. So
WhatsApp group, leave. Facebook group, leave. Block. But no, thank you, folks. Honestly, it means the world being here tonight. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys at the weekend who's got a ticket. If you want to get a ticket and get involved, bulletproofactor.com. There's a payment plan on there as well. You can spread the cost over 3 months if you want. We're trying to make it as accessible as possible. But until then, I'll end this live for tonight, and we'll be back next week for a debrief. I'll be doing a Monday night debrief next week, going right. Just finished this weekend. Let's tell you how it all went. But
I won't be there. I think I'll be in bed asleep, trying to recover.
You should join me because you should be there just to carry the burden with me of probably having no sleep for 2 days.
Brilliant. Cheers, Ross.
Will be good. Right, I'm going to. I'll end it for everybody. Thanks for being here, folks. Have an amazing week, and we'll hopefully see you at the weekend. Until next time, Matt, you know what time it is. In 3, 2, 1.
Bye for now.
I love it. Don't need to tell him now. See you later, folks. Bye.
Take care, everyone.